Welcome back to your fourth and final round of Modern here on Tuesday night. I'm the glorious Taylor Gunn. Sitting next to me is the handsome John Douglas.
Hello, everybody.
We've got a nice one for you. Doug Nelson on Merfolk. I don't know if he's on the blue-green Merfolk or not. And
He's got folk.
yeah. And Jon Tople on mono white Death and Taxes. So Merfolk a little bit more mainstream. I don't know how these Death and Taxes decks keep cropping up in Modern. I feel like they never do well, but they're always kind of around.
They'll usually top 8. They're good for a top 8, but not for a win.
Yeah.
Deal. You see a lot more of them than top 32 than top 8.
It just, to me, like Leon and Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter is just like, come on, are we serious right now?
Yeah,
This is your plan. Like, maybe my deck can't handle it, but like 80% of the decks in the field can handle this.
Yeah.
And you get to beat me. Like, it's a total deck that like concedes to matchups. It like lets the matchups
I wouldn't
determine
say
its
it
tournament.
concedes to matchups.
I feel like it lets matchups determine its tournament. Like, if he were to play combo decks all day, he's going to do well. If he plays Jund decks, he's going to lose because they just have removal for the
dudes.
The duders.
That's
He's got a Leon
a
Arbiter
little
in
oversimplifying
hand.
things. So Leon Arbiter plus Path is also a very good plan.
Right.
And Jund's mana is pretty fragile. Abzan's mana is pretty fragile, so I mean, if you start going in on a Ghost Quarter plan and they don't draw into the appropriate answers, then yeah, I mean, you can steal one very easily.
Sure.
It's not their best matchup, we'll say that,
Okay.
but it's not a bad one. It's not unwinnable.
Vile's about the best turn one for Doug Nelson.
Yes, it is. Thalia not going to do much against this deck.
Slows down Spreading Seas, and that's about it.
I don't think Spreading Seas on basic planes is really going to do much to hinder John's development here.
Yeah, I mean, Doug's not interested in Spreading Seas.
We are interested in this Silvergill Adept in drawing cards and revealing lords. That's what we do, and we're damn good at it.
Oh, my lord.
Let's see if he activates this Aether Vial in a turn.
I don't think he has a card to do it with. It looks like
Doesn't matter.
It looks like he's the mono blue.
Does not matter.
Oh, do you just activate it?
Yeah.
In the bluff?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Doesn't cost you anything. And forces them to respond if they need to.
Sure. Uh-oh. He's got the combo.
Jim BG21, thanks for the follow.
He's got the combo. Here's where you activate this Aether Vial. See what he's made of.
Yeah. He definitely wants to Ghost Quarter on this turn, if he's going to Ghost Quarter. Aggressively, I should say.
Concur.
There is something to be said for holding it up for Mutavault, but... So if Doug has a second land, or a third land, I suppose, he is very well off here.
Concur. I think if he has... Oh, here's the other island.
Oh, different art. Get it out. Ghost Quarter that one. Yikes. Alright, swinging with...
So here's where Doug may have punted a little bit. He cast the Lord that he didn't show him.
Yeah.
And so if you cast the Lord that you showed him, then you have the Aether Vial activation as like a unknown.
Right.
Or maybe he wanted to... Maybe he did it this way so that...
He could threaten and get in on this
Those-
Silvergill Adept.
Yeah, so that John doesn't block, And that way he can cast Silver Glad out. Maybe he's like a whole nother level deeper than I was.
So deep. Popping a clue. Yeah, Jon doesn't have much action.
He's got another land, I think.
Gets a clue back.
So I'm wondering, is this really the best value creature you can produce on one?
Thraben Inspector?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was the best creature in a very powerful standard environment.
Yeah?
It's perfectly fine here.
Okay.
Keeping the Sather Bile on 2 is good. We've got Lords on Lords. And let's bash.
So while the Spreading Seas isn't important as in keeping Topple off of mana, it's important here because you can get... These would just be free attacks.
Oh, yeah.
If he had like a turn 2.
And they're still free
Spreading
attack
Seas.
because your guys are so big and their guys so small.
Sure, I mean, he's going to get some double blocking happening, especially on this Lord.
Yeah.
I'd put Arbiter, Inspector on the Lord.
We don't need that many.
If Doug has an additional Lord in hand, you do?
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So...
Oh, is he going to put Thalia on Lord? Ew.
That's fine. I mean, it's not like...
Thalia having first strike is a very big deal for combat math here, especially since there are lots of Lords involved.
Right.
And you're at 17, so you got a lot of life to play with.
Yeah, I know in his hand he has an additional Arbiter to back up this one that's about to die. Oh, he's going to leave the Arbiter alive.
That's
yeah, this is the
100%
correct block.
wrong. There you go.
Yeah, so he's going to put another Lord into play here.
Additional Lord.
So Topple's going to end up taking 10 there.
He's just scooping. That's not good. That is not good at all. So if you're Topple, I don't know how you transition from this deck that is trying to tax fish, which is just about as effective as actually taxing fish, to something that's going to put up a fight here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to go bigger, maybe?
How do you go bigger on these guys?
Well, like, normally these Taxes decks should have Thought Seers and stuff in them, yeah? Or is that a different deck entirely?
That's a different deck. That's Eldrazi Texas. I mean, he could very well play it. He's playing, I'm sure, 4 Ghost Quarters, 4 Tectonic Edges.
Right.
I could see him potentially going big in like a human strategy.
Sure.
So you get to play some Champions of the Parish.
Champion of the Parish, yeah.
I could see potentially going wide.
Yeah, wide would work. I don't think... I mean, Doug got pretty wide that game, so I don't know that you'll ever be able to get as wide as the Merfolk get.
You can. I mean, if you start playing tokens, you can get as wide as the Merfolk. But
yeah, Spectral Precision will put you out there pretty wide.
Right. I like, against these Merfolk decks, having more removal, but I don't know that that's going to be available to Jon in this mono-white deck.
Every time I see Thraben Inspector, I want it to be followed up by a Smuggler's Copter.
You don't have to convince me, man.
That card would be actually probably pretty good in this matchup.
Yeah, I buttered my bread on Thraben Inspector and Smuggler's Copter back in the day.
Buttered your bread, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I want Smuggler's Copter to be a player in Modern.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I don't think it does anything here. it's not a fast enough clock, and you don't have powerful enough spells to draw into
Right.
to make it worth the slot, really. Now, I've seen it as like a one of in Merfolk decks. So coming from Doug, that would be pretty sweet.
Okay. I can get into that. I want to put it in my Affinity deck, but it's just worse than every other 2-drop in that deck.
Yeah. That's a real problem. There's probably some matchups where it's better than the 1/1 black lifelink flyer guy.
No, I want to replace like my my like thought casts with it. Or
So the problem with Affinity is like you want all the cards.
yeah, you don't have an additional. Yeah, you're not drawing dead.
Right.
It's a deck with a lot of live draws.
So like having 2 instead of no actual card advantage is a very real thing. There's only so many lands you can discard in that deck.
Yep.
And some of those are even creatures that are winning the game. So
Yeah, it's not a fit. I want it to be a fit. I just want it. I want it to have a home in Modern. It just doesn't.
yeah, I don't think it would be a hyper aggressive deck like Affinity. I think it would be like a controlling deck that would want something like that.
Sure.
And like the cost of having to crew it with a creature kind of eliminates actual control decks from that. All right, on to game 2. Doug's gonna mulligan. Let's see if we can get a game 2 in here. Kind of running out of time. What is this hand? John, baby, throw it back. Throw it back, John.
Don't do it to me.
So it's Plains, Ghost Quarter, Path, Arbiter, Restoration Angel, Restoration Angel.
Please, go square.
So you have turn 2 Arbiter.
Into untap path Ghost Quarter.
Correct, which seems fine. Except if he has like an Aether Vial, or if he has like 3 lands in hand,
Yeah.
it's a bad one. And then you have nothing else until this Restoration Angel comes down. Yikes. Alright. So Doug's 6 is a keeper, it looks like.
Yep.
We're going to scry to the bottom. We do have an Aether Vial in hand. Could be a big deal.
There you go.
There's the Aether Vial.
It's about as good as it gets. Aether Vial for John off the top of his deck.
Swifty, I would trade those 2 Restoration Angels for any one creature I could cast.
Yep. Agreed.
Here's the Arbiter on 2. That Mutavault's going to be a prime target for this Ghost Quarter.
Yep. This Silvergill Adept is really helping out Doug's cause, though. Drew him into his 3rd land. Really negating the...
Oh, I would trade this
Oh,
off in
yeah.
a heartbeat.
I would block so you couldn't jam it in there fast enough. Block.
So, like, your deck is trying to... You're an aggressive deck.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a hand like this, where, like, you have so much inevitability, and you've got this Aether Vial, so next turn you're going to start being able to cast 2 creatures a turn, I am very happy to trade that off.
Interesting.
Very strange that he didn't play the Ghost Quarter first, considering he's got such a good target in this Mutavault.
There's Meryl Rogeri coming down.
Oh no, it's going to be a Kira.
The Great Glass Spinner.
Kira's going to stop all of these path shenanigans, so we don't have to worry about that.
Here's an interesting one here, is it got replaced by an actual Merfolk
Well, it didn't get replaced. Kira is technically better, although not a Merfolk, in that it will actually counter the first thing that targets it. You don't have to just, it doesn't just tax it.
Right.
But I don't know that I like Kira here. I would rather have played a Regery. Oh, just a main phase Restoration Angel. Don't care that you know that I've got it.
Yeah, we're just gonna play this.
We're just gonna block your Kira if you attack. So please attack into it.
Yeah, definitely would have played the Mirror Ragery.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to not, because you know you're gonna put the Silver Gill into play, and so now on 3, you get this like.
So you can now, because of the Regeries, I would vial out a Regery first before I cast one. But whatever. Here's a Regery. We could untap a Mutavault, right? It untaps lands and then swing with a Mutavault. Or we're just gonna tap a Restoration Angel down.
Or does it tap something too?
Yeah, it's tap or untap. I think he also did not put a counter on the Aether Vial. Jon didn't.
No, he did. He's oh, Jon. Yeah, Tople did not.
Yeah, that's a series of misplays.
4/3 coming in here.
If this resto is tapped, I don't know.
Let's pull up that Mirror Regery. I want to know, because he definitely targeted the Restoration Angel. And I don't know exactly what it did. Because I would have untapped, I don't know. If he targeted the Restoration Angel, I would have attacked with Kira as well. Merrow.
Oh, it's when you play a Merfolk, not when one enters. Okay. So yeah, I would have definitely vialed one in first and then cast it, but
sure.
Here we go. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent. And he definitely cast a Merfolk spell.
Right.
But he missequenced that.
Okay, sure.
Maybe Jon's just several layers deep, and he wanted to not play his resto on Doug's turn to make Doug think that he was poorly playing his restos, so that the second flash resto is just insane.
It's just a blowout.
That's the play. That's what we were going for.
It just does not look like Jon's deck cooperated with him at all, either one of these games.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily Jon's deck not cooperating with him. Are we putting this on a Plains?
Well, if he puts it on the Ghost Quarter, he can just sack the Ghost Quarter out from under it.
Well, that's true, but then you get to spend that mana, activate a Mutavault.
You have to draw a card this way.
I think you're far enough ahead that doesn't really matter, but...
So with 2 Mirror Regeries in play, any Merfolk spell he has costs 2 less, basically, because you can untap 2. So you would have to have 2 Path to Exiles to...
Just scooping.
Yep, just scooping it up. Well...
Still had all these lands.
Still lands.
You goofball. Haha, I got him. Alright, so Merfolk takes one down against Mono White Death and Taxes.
Pretty smooth draws from the Merfolk deck. Pretty clunky draws from the Mono White Death and Taxes deck.
Yeah.
I am so excited about Saturday.
I'm so excited about Friday.
Enlighten me.
Well, here at GameSwap Mason, we're having a Black Friday sale where you can get all of the deals on this slide, with the exception of any foreign box for $24, which is actually any foreign box for $95, which is pretty sweet still.
Yep.
Additionally, Things that aren't listed here are going to be 20% off if you're paying with cash or credit, or 10% off if you're paying with store credit.
The bottom of the slide has some exceptions to those rules. And if you're interested in video games, particularly retro games, GameSwap Mason here has a wide selection, which will be 10% off everything video game related.
Regardless of how you're paying. So,
correct.
Show up, get your D&D attack wings, your X-Wing product.
There's some Funko Pops.
Get some Funko Pops. Get some Big Techs. I wonder if I can get
a 90-cent Big Tex.
Yeah, give me a 90-cent Big Tex any day of the week.
Well, you can have them on this particular one Friday.
This one day of the week, you can have them. But
if you want more of us, you can have a full 8 hours of us on Saturday.
The full 8 hours.
And we're going to get to talk about Standard.
Yeah, you haven't heard me complain about Standard.
Complain?
Well, I mean, I complain about the plays in Modern, so I'm going to complain about the plays in Standard, I'm sure.
Okay, I mean, well, I'm just going to say I have very little complaints about Standard right now.
I think Standard's great. I'm pretty deep into Standard. Like, I have a pretty good understanding of Standard.
Yeah?
A better understanding of Standard than I do of Modern. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good old time.
I hope I get to contribute something versus you just talking over me the whole day.
I'm not going to talk over you. I'll let you get in a word.
You'll browbeat me about it, though.
Oh, I will definitely browbeat you about it.
We'll see you guys then. Saturday, 1:30, and that's after the Black Friday sale.